So today we're going to be kind of putting the 2024 Tacoma back to stock. If you didn't know, I'm trading it off, I'm getting something else. Stay tuned for that. But the best way to get as much as you can out of your truck is to trade it in as close to stock as possible. So that's what I'm doing. I've taken off most of the mods and things that I've had on here. I should say every mod that I have on here, except for the things that I can't redo, I guess, or can't put back. For instance, like the painted emblem here, it's going to stay painted. But everything else, for the most part, is back to stock. I will be swapping out the wheels and the tires with the new truck. However, I do need to put some emblems back on the side because for some reason, I guess, a lot of dealers want the emblems on the trucks. It makes them more valuable, I guess. So, because I happen to have them from when I took them off here, I'm going to go ahead and put them back on. Now, I did put new tape on the back. It was pretty simple to do. You guys can see here. And I'm just going to stick them on, but I do want them to be on the right way, in the right spot. So, to do this, what you really need is a level, and I'll show you why on all this stuff, a cloth, a rag, some rubbing alcohol, and some cleaner of some kind. This is just soapy water, and then a measuring tape. That's pretty much it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is clean off the area where the badge is going to go, and that's going to be right in this area right here. Just using some soapy water to do that. Not rocket science. I assume anybody can do this, right? Next up, I'm going to clean the area off with rubbing alcohol because I do want the best opportunity for adhesion. So we're just going to take a little bit of that. Not going to go crazy. Not going to clean the whole door. And in the area that I think it's going to go in, which is about right here, I just want to get all the oil and leftover grime or whatever happens to be on there off. And there really shouldn't be much. I mean, unfortunately, this does take the wax off too, but not a big deal. Most of it's going to be covered by badge anyway, right? Now, I want to make sure it's level, and it's going to end up going pretty much right there is what I'm thinking. So I need to kind of put the level, and you want one that has a magnet on the back, and I'm just going to guess, and this is pretty much a guesstimate, but right about in that area. And you can see, I think, that it's not exactly level, so I'm going to pull this off, and I don't want to scoot it across the paint. I am being mindful of the next owner, right? So I'm going to want it to be pretty much, I think, right about there, and I'm just going to eye where it's going to end up according to this curved part of the stamping in the truck, and it's going to be about so much. Let's call it about a pinky width, my pinky width, to the edge. And you can see it sits right on the level there, so that ought to give us a pretty level fit. And then I want to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of spring in it because I want it to hold, obviously, with the adhesive. So I think pretty much about like that. Now, I am going to want to do the other side exactly the same or as close as I can. So I'm going to measure. We're going to see where this is, and it looks to be right about 28 and almost 3/4. So we'll call it 28 1/4, and that'll be close enough. Nobody's going to eyeball the difference for a 1/16 of an inch. So we'll call it 28 1/4. Now, all I have to do is get the backing off of my tape here, and then we can go ahead and stick it on. Now, the best way to do that, you know, trying to pick this stuff off with your fingers is a royal pain, right? So I'm going to use an X-Acto knife because it has a nice sharp tip, hopefully. If I can pick one that I haven't broken off. Yeah. To go ahead and pick the edges of the tape so I can just pull it off. Should be pretty simple, I think. I'll show you on one real quick, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Never hurts to push the tape down a little bit before you get started, just to make sure that it's stuck on there well. And if you're a real stickler on doing this, of course, you could heat the tape up a little bit, the adhesive, before you put this on. I think mine is going to be okay, so I think I'm all right. Anyway, to pick the tape off, again, this is not rocket science. Got a mosquito out here pestering me. You just want to grab the edge, obviously, and hopefully, and this is why it's somewhat easier to do with an X-Acto knife, I guess. But you just want to kind of pick the edge like so, and you can imagine how difficult and a pain this is to get off with just your fingers, like so. Again, not rocket science, but it'll make your life easier. Okay, got all of the covers off. You guys can see there. That was a joy. Now we're gonna try. I'm just gonna sit it on the level, and I'm eyeballing this curved edge once again, and we're just gonna kind of place it on there, right about pinky width, I guess. Doesn't take a lot. This tape is awesome. And then I'm just going to kind of push on it, hold it down a little bit for maybe a minute or so, and then we'll move on to the other side. Okay, got all the tape and junk off of the badge here, all cleaned up and ready to go. Let's go ahead and stick it on here. Think about right like that, and I did measure it. Again, I am absolutely certain it's not going to be perfect, especially when you drop your level. But it is right about like the other one. I think it's about as close as I'm gonna get. So we've got that one on. Again, I'm gonna hold it down for probably a minute or so, 30 seconds. I usually time it. And then it's gonna sit out in the sun, so it should really start to take hold, and then I'll wash the truck, of course, before I take it in. But you get the idea. We'll come back on and show it to you when it's finished here in a couple minutes. Okay, got them all done. It's a pretty simple thing. There you can see it there. Of course, nice clean spot around it now, which is why I'm going to have to wash the truck. But it looks like it's always been there, right? Let's check out the other side. This one, I think, actually came out a little better. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the driver's side. I'm not exactly sure. But you guys may notice these are a little different. Do you know why? Because this is what the original looked like. Toyota did change the badging a little bit on the truck. So this is a more blocky kind of letter, I guess, than what this is. Not a big deal, I don't think. And frankly, I'll be surprised if anybody even notices. It'll be interesting when I trade it in to see if it's mentioned. I doubt that it will be. Yeah, whatever. It says Tacoma. Anyway, just moving the truck back to stock as much as I can to get as much as I can out of the truck on trade-in. What do you think? Do you do this kind of stuff when you trade your trucks in? Do you try to get it back to stock? Or do you just leave it the way it was and trade it in and get what you can get? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.